up without Dariana Littlepage-Buggs in the games, but for the last couple of games, but she is going to have to play some defense today against Sundell.
So Baylor with the first possession of the game, even without Dariana Littlepage-Buggs, who is not available tonight. They go inside to Aaronette Vonleh for the first score of the game. Let's take a look at the Kansas State starters. Walker, Glenn, Sundell, Poindexter, the American Athletic Conference Player of the Year last year at Tulsa, along with Kennedy Taylor, who gets that starting nod in place of the All-American Aoka Lee.
Well, keep your eye on the Wildcats. Their three-point shooting has been tremendous this year, but they turn the ball over on that first possession.
And it comes right into your hands, partner. That's something you're going to watch today, right? Is Baylor's defense. How much does it disrupt this Kansas State team? As we look at the Baylor starters, Bella Fauntleroy averaging 9.9 a game. So if you round that up, that's double figures. That means all five on the starting lineup average in double figures for Baylor. And a whistle and a foul, or
that's going to be a foul on Taylor right there. Also tweaked her right ankle on that play. I'm interested to see the matchup on the interior still between Kansas State and Baylor.
Vonleh, the transfer from Colorado, had a terrific game here in the NCAA tournament last year when Colorado beat Kansas State. That's the last time the Wildcats have lost at home, as Fauntleroy tries to grab her own rebound and can't corral it. Poindexter, too strong on that three-pointer. She has been shooting extremely well, 42% from three-point range. And Vonleh up against Kennedy Taylor, the transfer from Missouri State, inside.
Well, Baylor looking inside the first couple of times down the floor, thinking they have an advantage with Vonleh.
There's Serena Sundell. A lot of conversations going on that she could be the Big 12 Player of the Year. In some ways, there's not a real clear front runner, and Sundell could be that person with what she has done for Kansas State. Nikki Collin, in her fourth season at Baylor, led them to the Sweet 16 last year. Remember that big win over Virginia Tech in the round of 32. They lost to USC in the Sweet 16 as Kennedy Taylor, the senior, scores inside.
A couple of times the Wildcats have gone to that pick and roll. We will see that throughout the game. Good execution.
Sarah Andrews, the fifth-year senior, with this game today. She ties a record for most games played at Baylor. And a nice pass inside to set up Vonleh, as they've gone to her several times. She's got 4 points here early.
Well, and she's also got a foul against Taylor. And again, with Lee out of the game, it's so important for Kansas State to have somebody on the inside be able to match up against Vonleh.
Backdoor cut by Glenn, and she is fouled by Yaya Felder. That's her first. Head coach for Jeff Mitty in his 11th season. Last year, they advanced to the second round of the NCAA tournament. We mentioned they lost to Colorado in the second round here in Manhattan. Taryn Sides, number 11, into the game for K-State. Kennedy Taylor keeps it alive.
Yeah, terrific effort right there. Baylor's such a good rebounding team. Getting extra opportunities will be important today.
Kansas State gets it back after it was deflected by the Baylor defense. Kennedy Taylor, and right through the hands of Poindexter.
Yeah, I like that look right there. Just didn't execute very well, but talk about Taylor coming in. She's one of the transfers for Kansas State. This is a Kansas State team that has a lot of players that have been here for 4, 5, 6, even 7 years if you count Aoka Lee. That's the kind of effort you're going to need today from Taylor, though, with Lee out once again.
Well, we showed you the standings at the top. Baylor is tied with TCU at the top of the standings. Kansas State right behind. That's why this game so important for both teams. Glenn from the corner, just short. But those three teams that are at the top of the Big 12, a lot of experience on all three teams, as Vonleh just muscles up, goes right over Eliza Maupin, grabs it and puts it in. She's got 6 points.
Yeah, terrific job again. Vonleh in green, number 21 right now, defending Maupin. Transfer from Colorado. What an addition she has been.
And Sundell tried to go back door, but it went right into the hands of Vonleh. Jada Walker off to Vonleh, who now has 8 points. And without Ayoka Lee in the center of the day today, and it's a beautiful day so far for Aaronette Vonleh, as she's got all 8 of Baylor's points to start this game.
And she's just done a terrific job of owning the paint at the offensive end for Baylor. And that is what they have seen from her throughout the season. She is able to go up against just about anybody in the league. We saw her go against Audie Crooks in their last game. That was a tremendous matchup between those two. We were looking forward to seeing her against Lee today, who once again is not playing.
Lee with the sore foot. Out of the timeout by Kansas State. Sundell missing, but it goes off Baylor.
And Serena Sundell and the rest of the Kansas State team right now, as you see, get a good look at Lee right there. Yoki Lee, such a huge part of this Kansas State team. What I was going to say is Kansas State struggling from the field.
High-low, Vonleh over Serena Sundell. Double digits already for the transfer, as she has all 10 of Baylor's points. This is a team in Kansas State that leads the Big 12 in scoring. Serena Sundell, the point guard, just taking matters into her own hands to go get a basket. But K-State leads the conference in points, in field goal percentage, and three-point percentage. But so far, Baylor's defense being disruptive.
And Kansas State switching up their defense right here. This is what they will do throughout the game, just to try to get more pressure on Baylor.
So all the points had come from in the paint, but Yaya Felder dialing up a three-pointer, a 39% three-point shooter. She's typically come off the bench this year for Baylor, but she is in the starting lineup with Dariana Littlepage-Buggs out with her knee injury. She's listed day-to-day as Serena Sundell commits the travel. Dariana Littlepage-Buggs is listed day-to-day right now for Baylor. She didn't even make the trip here to Manhattan. She is the only player in the Big 12 averaging double figures in both points and rebounds. Baylor
starting to hear the crowd a little bit here.
And a foul on Vonleh, her first.
So you see Kansas State mixing up their defense. They go to that 3-2 zone. It doesn't work the first possession. Second possession, though, they're able to get a rebound off a missed shot.
Terran Sides defended by Jada Walker. Poindexter, a terrific scorer for Kansas State.
There's that matchup we talked about with Fauntleroy and Sundell.
Maupin, hands off to Sides, little floater, got it.
Boy, what a terrific player she is off the bench for Kansas State. Jeff Mitty uses her masterfully. She can shoot the ball at 5'6". Look at the shot she created.
About 75% of her baskets are usually from three-point range. So she gets a teardrop to go there.
And a much-needed basket for Kansas State.
Felder, too strong.
A rebound.
Fauntleroy, Baylor's so good at offensive rebounds, and they get another opportunity. Baylor #1 in the Big 12 Conference in rebound margin and #1 in offensive rebounds. But let's go back to the other end with Terran Sides.
Kansas State struggling offensively, and Sides just able to create something on the baseline here. She worked this year. What, she shoots 600 shots 600 threes a day, per day, and made 75% of them towards the end of the summer. And she's just a terrific three-point shooter, but showing versatility.
And she's taking over some point guard responsibilities to move Serena Sundell off the ball a little bit. Glenn pulls up. That's been a good spot for Kansas State.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's the right side or the left side, that's where they have found a way to get some points on the board.
Sarah Andrews got it.
You know, Sarah Andrews cannot shoot the ball at a high percentage throughout the entire season, but when you need a big bucket from her, she can knock it down. I mean, that young lady.
She's got ice water in her veins. She has throughout her whole career.
I think she likes it when the fans are against her. The stakes are a little bit higher, and gets her hands on this ball.
There she goes to the floor, and then it's tied up, and then hands get tangled up. Giselle Sanchez and Sarah Andrews get tied up. The officials are going to step in. Jenna Cross, Brian Hall, Nicole Murray are officials today, and they're going to get together and talk a little bit.
You mentioned earlier that these two teams have a lot of veteran players, and it's do or die time right now. Both of these teams looking to get a Big 12 championship, and this is the kind of play you need. And Sarah Andrews in her 5th season understands what it's about. It gets a little chippy out there.
So the officials are going to take a look.
The call on the floor is a held ball. The possession error belongs to K-State. That play is under review for an team foul.
So after the two go to the floor and tie it up, there was a little extracurricular activity, so the officials are going to take a look to see if it was excessive and rises to the level of an intentional foul. So there it is, the whistle blows. They try to rip it away from each other. Hands kind of get tangled up.
I say let it go right there. I mean, these two teams are going to battle it out today. That's a tie-up right there, obviously, and just looks to me like Sanchez is trying to gain some balance with her getting a hand on the floor. What do you think, Brendan? I like a good scuffle, you know?
I think they definitely were both pushing off, but let's see if it rises to the level of intentional.
So they said they had nothing at the monitor, jump ball.
There is no intentional foul in the play. It will be K-State's ball. All clocks are correct.
Yeah, and I think that was a good piece of preventative officiating, because right away you saw Nicole Murray, the official, step in there to stop, because that could have gotten a little more out of hand than it did, and I thought they did a good job officiating there.
Well, I also think Nikki Collins, she's standing right in front of our announce position, and she was right in front of that play talking to Sarah Andrews and telling her just stop, cool down. A lot of minutes to be played here today yet.
Kansas State fans ramping it up here in the octagon of doom, as they call it. And a missed shot for Kansas State. Sarah Andrews sets things up. Bella Fauntleroy, who is such a versatile player, misses that one, and it gets away from Sundell as Yaya Felder was there to kind of mix things up.
Yeah, tough to guard this Baylor team right now with Vonleh, who can knock down the three. The Wildcats are still in that 3-2 zone. They go now to a 2-3 zone or man-to-man right now.
Oh, and then a turnover. Good anticipation by Jalen Glenn to Sundell. Those two have been playing together since their AAU basketball days. All 4 years together at Kansas State. They know exactly where each other is.
And if you're playing against any of the Glens, any of the Glenn twins, Jalen only playing this season, you need to be careful because they are quick. Their anticipation is second to none.
Baylor's lead has been cut to 6. The double team, this turnover. Kansas State has it turned right back over, and Mafaru looked like she had a backcourt violation as she stole the ball and went over the line and then came back, but no call. Felder kicks it out. Matharu, no. And it's K-State basketball. Jeff Biddy is explaining to the officials what he saw happen as Matharu caught it and goes over the line. That's a backcourt violation, isn't it?
I think it's pretty close. I don't think she really had control of the basketball before she started her dribble. So to me, it was close enough not to call the backcourt violation.
All right.
That's just me.
Under a minute to go.
Unless I were a coach like Jeff, and then I would be lobbying for my team.
Exactly, exactly.
Good defense by Fauntleroy. Again, that matchup we see.
There's Taryn Sides off the mark on that one. Typically a tremendous three-point shooter. She shot 50% from three over the last 4 games. And Nikki Collin is directing traffic from the other end of the court. The K-State crowd is trying to get loud. The shot clock is off. Andrews in and out of traffic. No. 3 seconds remaining. Sanchez. And that's the way the first quarter will end. Aaronette Vonleh, their last 8. Now Vonleh went to the bench with her first foul, so that could have something to do with it. And you can see the graphic. 1 of 6 K-State started, but 4 of 6 since then. But they haven't hit a three-pointer yet. Second best three-point shooting team in the country. Baylor with the first possession of the second quarter. Yaya Felder gets her second three-pointer of the game to go down.
Yeah, normally a player that comes off the bench for Baylor. She is in the running for 6th player of the year in the Big 12. She's had to start the last few games. She has been money these last couple of games for Baylor.
And too tough to go over Vonleh inside. 6th turnover for K-State.
Vonleh, her footwork is exceptional defensively.
She gets a triple team of Wildcats.
It's about time, right?
And the reverse goes to Matharu, who misses the 3. Kansas State looking for their first three-pointer of the game. They shoot 39.9% from three-point range, but haven't hit one yet today as Kennedy Taylor misses in the paint.
Good push.
Walker draws the contact and 1.
I really like how Jada Walker is playing this year for Baylor. I think we all remember how she played at the end of last season against that Virginia Tech when she was all over the place, and we have just seen that throughout this season too. She commands a presence out there with her ball handling ability, makes great decisions.
So Poindexter picked up her first foul. Jada Walker at the line. You mentioned that game against Virginia Tech. You know, she had transferred, Jada Walker, from Kentucky, and I think all year long was looking for her place in the offense. And then she came through in a big way. 28 points against Virginia Tech when they won in that second round game in Blacksburg. And that one gets away from Poindexter inside.
Yeah, Poindexter's such a big part of this Kansas State offense. She has yet to get going, hasn't hit a field goal, sort of fumbled that ball right there. Had a great look off of a great screen.
Andrews thought about it up top, waits for the screen. Pulls up. Lana Walker throwing ahead. Taylor inside, beautiful passing. That's why this Kansas State team leads the country in assists per game.
Well, and they've got a couple of easy baskets in transition. I think that's so important for Kansas State to turn defense into offense.
Baylor up 21-12 here in the second quarter, and again, taking it at the basket is Baylor, and they'll get a chance to go to the free throw line. We didn't have any free throws in the first quarter, and now Baylor has been able to get to the free throw line a couple of times. Second foul on Taylor.
I think Kansas State has also adjusted. The first couple of times that Baylor penetrated to the hoop, they gave up easy looks inside to Vonleh, and now they're adjusting and going hard to double team, but fouling in the process.
On Thursday night, women's basketball doubleheader starts at 7 Eastern on ESPN with the Tobacco Road rivalry game between 8th-ranked North Carolina and number 16 Duke. Then 6th-ranked South Carolina is in Oxford to take on Ole Miss at the Pavilion. North Carolina escaped with a win yesterday. It is that time of year when things are tightening up in every conference race.
There are some exciting conference races, ACC, SEC, and of course the Big 12, who has a lot of games left to play, and there's only 2 left to play.
And there's still a lot to be decided.
Exactly.
Biggest lead of the game for Baylor. Sarah Andrews thought she got a clean steal, but instead picks up the foul, and that's her first. Nikki Collin discussing some strategy with her assistant coaches. 20 seconds on the shot clock for K-State. Down 11. If you're just joining us, Aoka Lee returned for the last game against Kansas. Only played 5 minutes in that game, but is having some soreness in her foot, so is not available today. Baylor also without their leading scorer and rebounder, Dariana Littlepage-Buggs, who did not make the trip to Manhattan, as you see Aoka Lee on the bench there. So both teams are without their leading scorer.
Well, everybody has been looking for Lee to return to the lineup. As Lucy Poindexter knocked down her first shot of the night.
And it's the first three-pointer of the game for Kansas State, and that's exactly what this crowd was waiting for. Walker to Andrews. Andrews answers. That's why I said she's so cold-blooded. Every time Baylor needs a big shot, Sarah Andrews has been there over the last 5 years to hit it.
Well, she doesn't make all of them, but she seems to not be afraid to take a shot in a big moment and has hit plenty of huge ones. And right now for the Wildcats, I mean, they continue to try to guard the dribble drive, but the dribble drive has been effective. And once you see the player, Sundell, have to come in, help on defense right there, she can't recover quickly enough to get out to the shooter.
So Sarah Andrews has a couple of three-pointers. Yaya Felder has made 2. And on the inbounds play, Serena Sundell scores in the paint for K-State. She's got 6 points.
A favorable matchup that time. Got switched off onto a smaller defender.
Matharu, she gets in on the three-point party for Baylor.
Yeah, Matharu came and joined Baylor. Was able to start playing at the break in December, late December, and has been a great addition as well. Certainly a terrific shooter.
And she picks up the foul here on this end.
Well, Matharu is capable of knocking down the 3, but look at this little crossover she's got too as well. That's just a pretty look right there. And again, a known scorer, played at Texas a couple of seasons, was at Mississippi State before that, was at Florida, one of those players that has taken advantage of the transfer portal for sure. Found a home for herself at Baylor.
So she picked up her first foul. Stays on the court. Poindexter, too strong. Faru out in transition, and she is fouled by Taryn Sides. And it will send Matharu back to the free throw line.
Well, opportunistic right here for Matharu and Baylor, getting down the floor. Good vision by Andrews, and just a really tough foul right there. Sides was down there. She saw it coming, just couldn't get her hand cleanly on the ball.
You mentioned Matharu just joining the team at the break after transferring from Florida. She's only played in 16 games. In those 16 games, about a 58% free throw shooter. And misses both free throws. Sundell defended by Bella Fauntleroy. That's what we were anticipating for Baylor. Sundell takes it right at Vonleh, and Serena Sundell, so smooth. 8 points now for the senior point guard. Sarah Andrews steps back, got it. 3 3-pointers for Sarah Andrews.
The exact same move, but here comes the Wildcats.
and they quickly get down the court. This is why these two teams are the top two scoring teams in the Big 12. They can score quickly, they can score inside and outside, and a whistle and a foul, but let's take a look back at Serena Sundell.
Oh, this is just the screen on the ball. It looks like Sundell reads it, is able to cross over, get past Vonleh. Just a terrific one-on-one move, and that's where she is so valuable. Her ability to play outside, her ability to play inside. She can put the ball on the floor against a defender, maybe not as quick as she is.
22 seconds on the shot clock for Baylor. Felder. Jada Walker gets the screen.
A switch on the screen.
Sundell has the length. Can she stay with Walker? She does. And Poindexter gets a block shot. Taryn sides. And it's kicked by Walker, staying on this end. Taryn Sides, the 5'6" sophomore out of Phillipsburg, Kansas. Talked about her three-point shooting ability. Hasn't hit one yet today. Nice pick and roll to Lester, and an emphatic block from Fauntleroy. Timeout on the court. Baylor leading 32-21.
Baylor in drop coverage here, but somehow Kansas State threads the needle, and Fauntleroy's like, nuh-uh, I'm going to defend.
Win here. Charlie says they could move up to a 5, and they've got an opportunity by playing TCU at the end of the year to move up even higher than that. That's why this game's so important. Kansas State must win today to stay in the race for the Big 12 title, at least to have a share of it. Baylor, they control their own destiny. If they win today, they'll have an opportunity to play TCU to win a championship in the last day of regular season.
And I think Baylor has come out ready to play today.
Jada Walker off the little ball fake and the mid-range jumper.
Well, it's interesting, early in the game, the studio mentioned it, but the points from Vonleh were big. And then this quarter, in the second quarter, 4 for 6 from 3 for Baylor, and then a little mid-range jumper, doing a little bit of everything.
They are the second leading scorer, Baylor, in the Big 12. Kansas State leads the Big 12 in scoring with just over 80 points per game. And Fauntleroy picks up her first foul defending Sundell. Aaronette Vonleh comes back into the game, replacing Kyla Abraham. Vonleh had those first 10 points of the game, and she hasn't scored since then. She's 5 of 6 from the field. And Fauntleroy picks up her second foul on back-to-back plays. And this time it will send Imani Lester to the free throw line. First Kansas State free throws. A team that shoots 72% from the line as a team. Lester just 50%, 12 of 24 on the year. Fauntleroy goes to the bench for Baylor. And they get much smaller when Fauntleroy is not in the game.
Fauntleroy is able to play that 3 or 4 position.
Well, here's our Super Tuesday men's basketball lineup. It starts with Cooper Flagg and number 2 Duke in Miami at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Baylor and Cincinnati will play at the same time right here on ESPN2. Then at 9 Eastern, 6th ranked Alabama hosts number 24 Mississippi State. From the corner, Matharu missing, but another offensive rebound for Baylor.
I'll tell you what, if you're Kansas State, you need to rebound the ball right now. They have a small lineup out there, minus Vonleh. Can't give up those second opportunities.
Sides was covered up quickly as she has the ability to drain the 3. Good defense by Baylor. Matharu all over Sides.
And Vonleh just sitting in the paint right now, in help position.
Poindexter, and a blocking foul called. Poindexter is 6'2", the transfer from Tulsa, and she had Jada Walker, who's 5'7", pinned there in the paint. Walker picking up her first foul.
That's just good recognition, though, of the mismatch down low. for Jada Walker. I think my advice was don't bounce. She did a great job, I thought, of defending her, hold your ground. Once you start bouncing off the offensive player, they are going to call that.
Poindexter makes her first free throw, a 76% free throw shooter, and connects on the second. She's got 5 points. 3:10 remaining in the game. Kansas State fans trying to get this defense to play well against Baylor, who has been hot so far, shooting 46% from the field. And side with a rebound. Almost double dribbled. She saw Poindexter ahead and then pulled it in. Poindexter, no. Lester chasing with Walker, and Walker steps on the sideline.
Well, it's just not a very pretty play for Kansas State right there. This ball was almost stolen a couple of different times. You see Jada Walker definitely steps out of bounds, but that's just great effort by both teams.
I don't think any referee saw Taryn Sides pick up the ball and put it back down. That's what Nikki Collin is making sure she talks to each one of them about. Serena Sundell, and she throws it away. Andrews tries to collect in between 3 defenders and just throws it up off the backboard. Poindexter, no. Serena Sundell tracks it down and has it stripped away. And Taryn Side's going to set it back up so Kansas State can take a breather.
Again, mismatch on the interior.
Oh, and this time Tamira Poindexter, with that mismatch, gets called for the offensive foul.
Yeah, Poindexter just trying to to post Walker up down low. Watch her put her arms behind the defensive player. That's one thing you can't do. You cannot hold like that, get your arms straight up and ask for the ball.
And it's not necessary. She's got the height advantage.
Not necessary. But you know, when you're big like that, you and I both know, sometimes you have to try to go against smaller players that are quicker.
Yeah, try to keep them behind you.
It's tough.
Out of bounds off Baylor.
Boy, since Vonleh went to the bench a couple of minutes ago, it feels like the energy of play has just skyrocketed for Kansas State and for Baylor as well. A little more frenetic of a pace, a little less disciplined.
Vonleh just that glue player. Just kind of keeps things steady for Baylor. Sundell steps back, doesn't shoot a lot of threes, misses that one. And Kansas State now 1 of 8 from beyond the arc. Baylor has won 8 games in a row. It's the longest winning streak in the Big 12 as Matharu commits the turnover. That's 5 turnovers now for Baylor.
It's 3 turnovers in the last 3 minutes for Baylor as well. Again, just a faster pace.
Kansas State hasn't lost at home this year, but have trailed throughout. And Serena Sundell that time just was not on the same page as Jalen Glenn.
Right now with Vonleh just sitting in the paint, I don't think Kansas State really has figured out, once they get to the paint, what to do with the basketball.
10 turnovers for Kansas State, but Baylor hasn't really taken advantage of the turnovers, just 2 points off turnovers. But what they have done well is shot well from 3-point range. 6 of 16 3-pointers so far here in the first half. Matharu splits, double clutches, tips it in. What a play for Matharu.
Yeah, just a good read by Matharu. Had to travel earlier, came back with the big play right there.
Sidestepping, trying to get away from the defense, hasn't been able to, and then a foul on Matharu. That's her second.
Matharu has come in very active off of the bench for Baylor, who again has been locked in throughout this game. She's hit a 3-pointer, able to put the ball on the floor, just stay with it. And again, the offensive rebounds right now for Baylor have been a factor.
Matharu going to the bench with the 2 fouls. And Gisela Sanchez 6'4", junior athletically, although she went through the senior day activities on Saturday against KU. 7 seniors celebrated senior day against their rival KU on Saturday. Sundell tries to tip it. I thought it was off Sundell, but Jenna Cross says it's off Baylor.
Yeah, that looked like it was off Baylor to me.
Sundell being hounded by Felder, pulls up again, rims in and out.
And Vonleh in the paint once again, just sitting in there waiting for shots to be taken to rebound.
Shot clock is off. Jada Walker barreling into the paint, can't draw a foul, can't get it to go, and Kansas State will have it with 1.8 seconds remaining. Sundell has it blocked, and that's the way the first half will end. Baylor up 36-26 here on the road in Manhattan. Let's get you back to the studio. State with 10 turnovers and 10 field goals made, so have not been the efficient team that they have been all year long, and Baylor's defense really disrupting them in this game.
One of the biggest numbers we saw, not just turnovers, we see another one there, was also Baylor's ability to defend the three. Kansas State leads the nation in second in the nation in three-point field goal percentage, yet just 1 for 8 in that first half.
Sundell got the steal on the other end and drops that one home. She's got 10 points. So Baylor currently tied for first in the Big 12 with TCU. Kansas State right behind them. Kansas State has to win this game to have a shot at least sharing the title, possibly if other things go their way. But Baylor has their destiny in their own hands. Vonleh missing. Yaya Felder has it stripped away. And the Wildcats pushing. Walker, no. And a good hustle play by Kennedy Taylor to track it down, and a foul on Sarah Andrews, her second.
Kansas State needs to read what's happening defensively. Ross right here with Vonleh. Vonleh, she's in the middle, and she hasn't come out the entire game. She sits in the middle in that drop coverage on that screen on the ball. That's a great read by Sundell, but right now Kansas State needs more of those opportunities.
Fauntleroy and Sundell colliding. And a foul called on Yaya Felder, number 2 for Baylor.
On here you see just putting the ball on the floor. Just looks like Yaya Felder loses her balance on that play.
Kansas State has played from behind the whole game. They tied it up 2-2, but they have never had the lead in this game. And they come out of the halftime locker room with a little more energy. There, Glenn picks up the foul. It was committed by Matharu. That's her third.
It is just so important for the Wildcats right now to figure out ways to score. They went that last 5 minutes and 32 seconds of the second quarter without putting the ball in the basket, and you just can't do that against good teams.
Ayoka Lee looking on from the sideline with the sore foot. She is not able to play tonight. She missed 8 games. She came back for the Kansas game on Saturday, but played just 5 minutes and not available tonight as Jalen Glenn made 1 of 2 free throws. And now a foul called on Jalen Glenn, her first foul. First team foul of the quarter for Kansas State. Sarah Andrews to trigger it in for Baylor. Andrews right behind Vonleh as far as points. She's got 9, and Fauntleroy spinning inside. That's her first basket of the game.
And yet she was the leader in your plus-minus margin on the stat sheet at halftime. It is so important for her to be out there on the floor. The team plays better with her when she scores. It's even worse for the opponent.
Poindexter tries to tip it out, and a collision between Sundell and Fauntleroy. And they're going to call it on Fauntleroy. Boy, it looked like, and that's her third. Boy, it looked right on up the ramp to the locker room. Under 8 to go here in the third quarter as everybody tries to gather and get back to action. Nice pass to set up Kennedy Taylor inside. She's got 6.
I feel like that's the first time Kansas State has read the defense, made Vonleh commit, and then found the dump-off pass.
Poindexter gets in the passing lane. 2-on-2, looking for someone. Tries to go over the top, and somehow it lands in the hands of Kennedy Taylor. Back-to-back baskets for Taylor. Andrews has it stripped away by the Kansas State defense, but Andrews steals it right back. Matharu got it. Boy, that'll quiet the crowd as the crowd was getting into it after a 4-0 run for Kansas State. That's 10 points for Matharu. Sundell. And it just dribbles off the rim. Matharu. Nice step through. Can't finish it. And Kennedy Taylor there with a rebound.
And Matharu needs to be careful. 3 fouls right now. You want to just get back on defense.
Poindexter with great position against Sarah Andrews. 7 points for Poindexter.
Kansas State has tried to post Poindexter up several times in the first half. Finally, success on that possession.
Oh, Felder. Too strong, and she is pushed underneath the basket. Kennedy Taylor is pushed by Aaronette Vonleh. Her second foul.
Baylor has been good on the offensive boards here today, and just you can see the left arm extending right there. There's a few big plays by Kansas State right now to change the momentum of this game.
So we're already to 5 team fouls for Baylor at the 6-minute mark in the third quarter. Kennedy Taylor at the free throw line. She makes the first. This week's NBA Wednesday doubleheader starts at 7 Eastern on ESPN with the Sixers and Knicks in an Eastern Conference matchup. That's followed by the Spurs and Rockets in a Western Conference showdown. Coverage tips off with NBA Countdown at 6:30 Eastern. Taylor connects on both free throws to draw Kansas State within 4. It's the closest Kansas State has been since they were down 6-2 in the early going. Felder. And a big rebound by Poindexter. Kennedy Taylor posting up inside against Kyla Abraham. Sundell on Matharu. She might back her in because she's got a height advantage. Dishes off to Taylor, and quick hands from Felder to steal it. 12 turnovers for K-State. Baylor, during this 8-game winning streak, their defense has been tough, and they are answering the call right now. This time on a drive to the basket, a foul committed. That's on Taylor. That's her third on Kennedy Taylor.
A good job by Yaya Felder. Again, she has been very aggressive, taking the spot of Dariana Littlepage Bugs as she's been out with that knee injuries. Puts Taylor on the bench with foul trouble.
So they replace her with Eliza Maupin, the 6'4" junior, number 21. Yaya Felder at the free throw line. She connects on the first. Felder, a 73% free throw shooter. I mentioned she and Taryn Sides from K-State are the only players that have come off the bench all year and average in double figures. Felder has started the last 3 games for Dariana Littlepage Buggs, and Felder now with 8 points.
It's always an interesting thing to watch Kansas State today come down and see what they're going to do. That's a great read. Again, we've seen Sundell make that pass or try to make the pass when the double team comes from the post player for Baylor. But Kansas State hasn't always made the right decision.
What a move by Felder. Can't get it to drop, but it'll stay on this end. 4:35 remaining in the third quarter. Now media timeout on the floor.
Yeah, well, Sundell leads the nation assists per game, and here's another dime.
Baylor, if they get the win, that sets them up in a position to, when they play TCU in that last game of the year, to potentially win a Big 12 title, and it would be the first since Nikki Collins' first season in Waco. Out of the timeout, Matharu misses the 3, but Vonleh, that's her first basket since making the first 10 points of the game.
Vonleh just comes in and makes an impact immediately. I mean, somebody has got to get a body on her if you're wearing a white jersey right now.
Jada Walker with the steal, off to Matharu, who finishes.
Really good. Baylor does a really nice job, I think, of getting down the floor quickly. These turnovers have got to have an effect on Kansas State over time. Is that 12 already on the day? 13?
14 turnovers for Kansas State.
I was wishing it was only 12.
Serena Sundell into the paint. She's got 12 points now. She's leading Kansas State. Vonleh with a terrific position inside against Lester, and Imani Lester picks up the foul. That's Lester's first foul, and it will put Arinette Vonleh at the free throw line.
Nikki McRae is so good at finding who the hot hand is and the mismatches inside, and really nobody able to handle Vonleh today.
She makes the first free throw. Well, our Thursday night women's basketball doubleheader starts at 7 Eastern on ESPN with the Tobacco Road rivalry game between the 8th-ranked North Carolina and number 16 Duke. Then 6th-ranked South Carolina is in Oxford to take on Ole Miss at the Pavilion. That's all on Thursday night. Double team, Taryn Sides, double teamed in the backcourt, and it's tied up. Possession arrow Baylor, so another turnover. As Ayanna Walker checks back into the game to replace Sides. That's 15 turnovers now for Kansas State.
A great hustle right there by number 7, Jennings, coming into the game. Not used a whole lot out there, but she has made an impact when she comes in the game, 3 or 4 minutes a game here and there.
Matharu so quick. Can't get it to drop, and then 2 K-State players fight over it, and it goes right into the hands of Baylor. Felder. Jada Walker. Felder. Another 3-pointer. She's got 11 points. She's 3 of 6 from beyond the 3-point line.
And her confidence right now is just sky high. Not usually somebody that will just take a 3-pointer early in the shot clock. Nikki Collins has encouraged her, believes in her shot.
Walker, tough shot on the left side. And if you're just joining us, Bella Fauntleroy with a collision with Serena Sundell at the 8-minute mark. Baylor was up by 9. Kansas State closed it within 4, but now they've stretched the lead back out to 11. And another foul, this time on Poindexter. Her third will send. Vonleh was at the free throw line. I think it's going to be inbounded under the basket, though. Walker looking. Wyatt Jennings, number 7 for Baylor, into the game. Walker, tough into the defense. There's Vonleh again. She can't finish.
K-State lucky on that possession. If you're going to go contest a shot right there, you have to make sure you have a rebounder.
Sundell blocked by Vonleh. It'll be Wildcat basketball under the basket.
Vonleh has been active at both ends of the floor, and you see Sundell again coming around that screen. We've talked about this, and Vonleh knows she needs to step out away from the lane, contest that shot.
Sarah Andrews checking back in. She's got 9 points. Sundell takes it into the paint. 8 on the shot clock.
Again, good defense by Baylor. Overall, they have played extremely well in quarter court defense.
Walker can't get that one to go.
Poor pass.
Sundell there to steal it away. Sundell to Sanchez. Sanchez has a size advantage, but kicks it out instead. Lester has it blocked by Vonleh. Vonleh out in running in transition. How about that? What a day. A double-double for Vonleh with 16 points and 10 rebounds. She's got a block. She's got a run out. And Sundell tries to get Kansas State to chip back away at this, but wow, Baylor has been impressive.
Well, and as you mentioned, Vonleh, she has been terrific from the tip today. She has come out with intensity and been everywhere on the floor.
Under a minute to play in the third quarter. Vonleh with terrific position inside against Imani Lester.
K-State needs to get a basket here. They have been found it so difficult, I think, to score against this Baylor defense today. Vonleh's been in help position all the time. And we mentioned it at halftime. Somebody in the 5 position, at that post position, needs to step up and make a free throw for Kansas State, and that was it.
Lester with 4 points now, and the shot clock is off as Baylor will go for a last shot in the third quarter. Baylor led by 10 at halftime. Kansas State drew it to within 4, but Baylor has extended the lead back out. Yaya Felder misses that one, but she has been good from beyond the arc. Baylor looking to build on its Kansas State. Aaronette Vonleh with the 18 points. It's her 3rd double-double of the year. She scored the first 10 points of the game tonight and has scored 8 since then. As we start the fourth quarter, Wyatt Jennings for Baylor picks up the foul against Serena Sundell, and there's Bella Fauntleroy. She had a collision at the 8-minute mark in the third quarter with Serena Sundell and immediately went down in pain, and you see the ice being applied to her shoulder. Baylor is now being scored on by Serena Sundell. Baylor already is without the services of Dariana Littlepage-Buggs, their leading scorer and rebounder on the year. K-State is without Aoka Lee in this game. And so these are 2 teams, though, that have a lot of depth and a lot of experience, and that's where this comes into play.
Well, it's very important right now for Kansas State. They need to make an impact with their defense. You see them trapping, scrambling. They need to rebound now.
And how about that? Jennings drains a three-pointer, a 36% three-point shooter. That's her first basket of the game.
And again, from 3 is at 9 on the day for Baylor. They have been really good from 3.
And Walker short on that. Baylor has been good from three-point range, 9 of 22 for almost 41%. On the other hand, Kansas State, a team that leads the Big 12 and is second in the nation in three-point percentage, just 1 of 9 from three-point range. Maupin blocks that one. And so if Kansas State has any chance to make a comeback and keep their record here at home unblemished, let's take a look at what Baylor has done during this 8-game winning streak.
Yeah, you know, they've obviously scored higher, had more points with 80 points per game. Their three-point percentage has been better. Their assist, they've been sharing the ball better. The big stat, though, is this one where they are not allowing their opponents to shoot threes easily. Only 21% a game in their last 8 wins on that streak. And tonight, 1 for 9, Kansas State is from three-point land.
Sarah Andrews, that one rattles in and out. Vonleh, another rebound. She gets a second, and she's fouled by Maupin. Just the relentless play of Aaronette Vonleh as she will go to the free throw line. She's got 12 rebounds to go along with her 18 points.
And those 6 of those have been offensive rebounds. Again, really active around the basket. And Kansas State really hasn't had an answer for her on the inside.
The 12 rebounds ties her career high. Vonleh now at 19. Her season high points is 22 that she's had a couple of times. You see the high efficiency, 8 of 12 from the field, and she's got 20 now. And it's the biggest lead of the game for the Bears.
And what a terrific pickup again she has been for Baylor this season, and obviously had that experience from Colorado, but the postseason experience, knowing what it means down as the season comes to an end, how you have to step up your intensity.
Taryn Sides missing. K-State now 1 of 10 from beyond the arc.
Good pressure right there by Sides.
Baylor has led the entire night. It was tied at 2-2.
And the times that the Wildcats have been able to get back in the game, it's been with defense turning Baylor over, rebounding the basketball. They need to find urgency to be able to do those things again here down the stretch if they want to get back in this game. But with a three-point shooting team like Kansas State, you know they're always dangerous late in the game and could get back into the game with their three-point shot.
Taryn Sides pulls up for the jumper over Vonleh. That's a tough shot.
Yeah, pretty two-point shot. She's got a couple of those today. Just good reads off that screen on the basketball.
Vonleh has tied her season high now with 22.
And pretty footwork on that ball reversal, following the basketball, always keeping on top of the defender.
And that time Vonleh commits the foul as Kennedy Taylor drives into the rim.
You talk about Vonleh, she's 6'3", but it seems like she plays much bigger than that. Here you see defensively how tough she is to go up against because of just her strength on the interior. Fouls on that play, and will come out of the game, but she's been so good today.
She will take a rest with 22 points, 12 rebounds, and now 3 fouls. And of course, Aoka Lee just wishing she had the opportunity to get out and battle against Vonleh once again. But Aoka Lee still with the sore foot. She missed 8 games. She came back for 5 minutes in the KU game, and they have decided to keep her out until she is healed a little bit more.
And there's been no discussion, I don't think, about her not coming back this year. Hopefully she will continue to improve and obviously titrate her way back onto the floor throughout the end of this season. She's such an impact player. 6'7", you just can't replace that in the middle.
4-time All Big 12 selection during the course of her career as Kennedy Taylor makes the free throw. Aoka Lee, it's her 7th year at K-State. She missed 2 years with injury. She's missed games throughout her career with various injuries, and she is sitting today. Big rebound from the littlest player on the floor for K-State. Taryn Sides now with 7.
And it's a 10-point game, just like that.
And that's just what you're saying. The ability that Kansas State has to hit threes, they're the #2 3-point percentage team in the country. They could put it together, but not if they can't get stops against Baylor as Felder drives in. She's got 13 now for the Bears.
I just think Kansas State's one-on-one defense has struggled today with the drives, putting the ball on the floor. Baylor has had success getting the ball into the lane with Vonleh.
And a good rebound there for Kennedy Taylor, who has done a terrific job inside as she is the main center that's available right now for Kansas State. Felder picked up her 3rd foul. It will send Kennedy Taylor to the free throw line.
Well, Taylor has been a terrific pickup, as we mentioned, as a backup to Lee, who has been out those 8 games, 9 games with today. It's been an important piece to this Jeff Mittie team.
Taylor misses her first free throw. Well, here's our Super Tuesday men's basketball lineup. It starts with Cooper Flagg and #2 Duke in Miami at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Baylor and Cincinnati will play at the same time here on ESPN2. And then at 9 Eastern, 6th-ranked Alabama host #24 Mississippi State in what should be an electric atmosphere at Coleman Coliseum.
Little 3-quarter court press from Kansas State. They like to run that press. They love to trap, but that will kill it.
3-pointer goes down again. Matharu has 15 points. Now 3 different players in double figures for Baylor. Sides, no. The tipping. Taylor comes away with it. Sides from the corner. And that's a shot the Kansas State fans are used to seeing going in.
I like how Baylor has controlled tempo here late in the game, into the 3rd quarter, also in this 4th quarter, slowing things down a little bit.
From the corner, Jada Walker. And a scrappy hustle for Baylor to pick up that offensive rebound, and then Nikki Collin calls a timeout. Matharu has 3 of them.
Yeah, 18 points off the bench for Baylor. Matharu has 15 of those points, and she has been active from the get-go. Again, acclimating to Baylor, just starting with the team in December and eligible after the transfer. But this is a young lady that's got a ton of experience, and I think down the stretch is going to be really important for this Baylor team.
Vonleh leading the way. Matharu right behind with 15 points. Does Kansas State have a comeback in them? They're down by 14. They haven't lost a game this year. They're 17-0 here in Bramlage Coliseum, and they've been playing from behind this entire game against Baylor. As Taryn Sides picks up the foul against Jada Walker. That's the 3rd team foul for the Wildcats.
And we mentioned it at the break when we were talking between ourselves, and just mentioned how poised this team has been today. Baylor has not gotten rushed late in shot clocks with the double teams, with the scramble defenses they have seen.
Faru kicks it out to Sarah Andrews. Got it.
Yeah, exactly what they've been doing all day, just taking their time, reading the defense. I think they've done a really nice job of getting touches in the paint by getting the ball to their post, but also just on the penetration and dribble drive.
She's got 12 points on 4 of 7 from beyond the arc. A whistle and a foul called on Jada Walker on this end. Baylor is looking for its 9th straight win and to stay in contention for a Big 12 title. Kansas State 17-0 at home. Their last loss at home was in the NCAA tournament in the 2nd round last year to Colorado.
And I think both of these teams, as we mentioned before, looking for a Big 12 title and thinking about postseason. How can they move up? How can they do better in the postseason that they've done in the past couple of years?
Well, Baylor is flexing its muscles quite a bit here in this game, as this Kansas State team has a better net ranking, has a better AP ranking, and Baylor has really played a great game on the road to have this double-digit lead. And a whistle and a foul called on Kennedy Taylor for Kansas State.
Yeah, Kennedy Taylor has just had her hands full throughout most of the game, trying to defend and rebound against Vonleh.
Kennedy Taylor now with 4 fouls.
Again, we see the patience from Baylor, their ability to drive today. And really, Kansas State hasn't been able to contain that.
Yaya Felder going right to the rim. She's got 15 points. They go inside, Kansas State does, to Kennedy Taylor, and Vonleh picks up her 4th foul. So now both centers in this game have 4 fouls.
Vonleh trying to plead her case right there. She looked pretty straight up to me on that defensive play. She is an immovable force really on the interior going up against most players.
Kennedy Taylor, the transfer from Missouri State, who was the Missouri Valley Conference 6th Player of the Year last year. She makes both free throws and has 14. Under 3 minutes to play. Baylor milking the clock. Jada Walker all the way to the rim, and Baylor has been able to get to the rim with all of its guards today.
Again, poised, and that's an offensive foul right there. Terrific defense. I think I called that before the officials did. Terrific defense right here by Baylor, and that is what we've seen from Baylor. Terrific defense on this end from Matharu, and then really great patience at the offensive end, putting both ends of the floor together.
And that's the 17th turnover of the game for Kansas State. This is a team that typically averages under 13 turnovers a game, and Baylor obviously has disrupted this normally fluid, efficient offense of Kansas State.
Oh, and you'll also see that in the number of assists that Kansas State has. Just 13 here on the game today.
Vonleh decides, yeah, I'm having a great day. I'm going to try a 3-pointer.
Hey, why not? But to finish my point, Kansas State with, they lead the nation in assists per game, and just 13 today. They average about 21 a game.
Oh, woo! Swatting that away. 3rd block of the game from Aronette Vonleh.
She has owned the paint today. Defensively, she has hung out in there and waited for people to try to get to the rim. And offensively, she has done a ton of damage.
Taylor going to work, banking it off the backboard. And Taylor has had a nice game with 16 points now for Kansas State.
This has been such a big game for Baylor. Again, we mentioned the standings, their ability to control their future with a win today, a win against TCU, who's 10th in the nation in their last game of the season.
And Sundell getting into the paint. But it has been a struggle for Kansas State, playing from behind all day. This is a quad 1 game for both these teams, and Baylor 2-4 against quad 1 teams coming into this. So this obviously strengthens their NCAA resume. They're a 6th seed right now, according to Charlie Cream, but man, with a dominating performance like this on the road, it might be pushing up even higher than a 5th seed. They may have an opportunity down the stretch here, depending on how they play against TCU and in the Big 12 tournament, to move themselves into an opportunity to host, as Vonleh has 24 points and will go to the bench. Here's the resume for Nikki Collins' team, the 17 net. They'll go to 3-4 in quad 1 victories, and you've got to think they will be moving up higher than a 6th seed.
Yeah, this is a team that's hungry right now, a team of experienced players, a pretty good resume I think they'd like to get a little bit higher. They'd love to host. Can they run the table here during conference play? Can they make waves in the Big 12 Conference Tournament, which is coming up the 8th? Is it the 8th through the 10th?
Actually, the 5th through the 9th.
The 5th through the 9th. 5th through the 10th, actually. Let's both be right.
Well, it's only the 10th if BYU makes it to the final.
Okay.
It is the 5th through the 9th, unless BYU makes it to the final, and then it's through the 10th. All right, the officials making sure everybody gets taken care of. The right people on the court, they are now, and we're under a minute to play.
Well, Abraham has been sitting on the sideline for a while trying to get into the game.
The officials having a discussion. And Nikki Collin calls a timeout so she can get the substitution in. Abraham comes in, and Vonleh, with the Baylor fans here in attendance, giving her a round of applause. Terrific game, 24 points, 12 rebounds, her third double-double of the season, to go along with 3 block shots. And she really set the tone in this game, making the first 10 points for Baylor. Kansas State has been so good at home this year, but they are going to experience their first loss as Serena Sundell now with 20 points. Baylor led by Vonleh with 24, Felder and Matharu both with 15 points, and Sarah Andrews with 12 points. The bad news is Bella Fauntleroy went to the bench, went to the locker room with an injured shoulder in the third quarter, is sitting on the bench with the ice pack. We know Dariana Littlepage-Buggs didn't make the trip to Waco. So Baylor just really showing their depth and experience to come on the road and get this victory tonight.
Yeah, much needed victory really for Baylor. We mentioned before how they are hungry. This is an experienced team that knows what it takes to win big games like this. You see everybody congratulating Vonleh, and she was dynamite today. Really big game from her. They're going to need that from her as they continue on in this regular season, obviously against TCU coming up.
Well, Kansas State with its first loss of the year at home. Baylor stretches out its winning streak to 9 games in a row with the victory over Kansas State today.
Yeah, dominant at